Not know about ProVenture, this is a small brief. So we are a 360-degree project management service covering people, systems, and solution. And our services include process consulting. We do PMO services, product development, enterprise solution, and other corporate trainings. Uh, we are there for the last 15 years, and we have trained over 12,000 professionals in project, program, and portfolio domains. And in the consulting space, we've served more than 50 customers and deploying enterprise project management solutions using Microsoft and Oracle Primavera solutions. And as far as partners is concerned, PM for NGOs is one of our partner. It's an international NGO that promotes and sustains the professionalism of program and project management in the international development sector. So we'll be seeing widely about this in this webinar. And we also partnered with TPG Germany as strategic partners, and also with Intower USA in terms of best practices in risk management. So this is about ProVentures in a nutshell for the last 15 years of what we are. And Mr. P. Srinivasan, he is the founder director of ProVentures, and he will be the speaker in today's session. To give you a short brief about him, he comes with almost 38 years of industry experience. He's basically a BTech from chemical engineering background, and subsequently he holds the international certifications of PMP, PGMP, and PFMP. And he has also completed this project DPro level 1 and level 2 examination. And he trains a large number of participants in this front. So he's also a certified lead assessor in the ISO 9000 quality management system from BSI London. And he's a trained appraisal team member, ATM in Scampi CMMI appraisal. So he's also the founder director of PMI Pearl City chapter, Hyderabad, and served the chapter from 2001 to 2006. So he consults companies in process maturity, portfolio and program management, risk management, agile practices, etc. So this is a brief about the speaker. And before we move towards the webinar, a few instructions. Maybe this webinar will be kind of split into two parts. In the first half, we will go about the session topics given by the speaker. Then subsequently, we will have a dedicated sessions for Q&A. Nevertheless, in between, if any of you have any type of question, you can unmute and speak to the speaker directly, or you can give your questions in the chat and it will be addressed then and there. There are other icons which you can see in the participants window, which will have yes, no, go slow, go faster. So you can use those emotions as well, in fact, in a way that if you want to communicate with the speaker. And this webinar carries 3 PDUs. So at the end of the webinar, we share a feedback form, which you will have to fill up and give it to us. So once that is done, then we will be able to give you we will send you the certificate to your mail ID, to the given mail ID in the feedback form. So you will be able to download it. So we'll keep it. Sir, I have the session schedule, maybe which we can give it in the towards the end of the session. Yeah. All right. Okay. So with this, I'll hand over the session to the speaker. So once again, welcome you all to the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ratna. It is nice to see a lot of people have joined the session. Just give me a moment. I'll just share my screen. Just with this session on, maybe I think around 14, 15 of you have joined. So Ratna has already introduced about me. But what I thought is those who can, those who would like to, maybe few of you, okay, you can unmute and just introduce yourself for about, let's say, about 30, 40 seconds, which organization you represent. And probably if you can, I don't know, because our brochure doesn't say much about the program. So if you just say what is your expectation about this 1 hour 15 minutes talk, okay, so that I make sure that I address that part as part of my talk. Okay, if any of you would like to speak, maybe I would like to spend 3 to 5 minutes in terms of listening to you. Okay, I'm not insisting all of you to introduce yourself. Those who can, okay, if you can, you can show your face, otherwise also audio is okay. Just unmute and then introduce who you are and what do you expect out of this seminar. That will actually be good for me to get to know about you so that I don't speak something totally tangentially different. I just open it for you. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Good to hear. Yeah, the Swastava. He just raised his hands. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Chaturvedi. This is Swastava Cancer Care.
Okay.
We started in the year 2017. We completed 4 years. Of course, 1 year is gone because of COVID. So 3 years full inputs we did. Our main focus is on creating awareness among rural women and men on cancer, which otherwise is giving a lot of difficulty. People are coming in the last stage. And then the second thing is we conduct screening camps with our doctors, nurses and all that to the women and men. And then pre-cancerous conditions, we will see that they are given support for diagnosis and admission into hospitals. The second part of our activity is youth empowerment. We have a partnership with the Telangana government education department. All high schools, we go to the 8th, 9th and 10th standard children, and then we talk about tobacco and other bad habits which causes cancer. And then in general, we make them take a pledge that they will never touch the tobacco products in their lifetime. And we also give a certificate. Plus, last but not the least, is that we teach the girl children, our lady doctor, menstrual hygiene, because most of the girl children come from BPL families. Menstrual hygiene and then physical hygiene, besides the problems of human papilloma virus, to protect themselves from cervical cancer in future. This is our activity. We have done a lot of work. We have covered almost more than 60 villages and about 15,000 children.
Okay.
So this is our background, sir. And
Okay.
we are now keeping our head up with a couple of good projects from Novartis and also from the Union from France.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for giving opportunity to tell you about us.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I heard one
good
more.
evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yeah. I'm Somani from Hyderabad. I'm the founder and managing director of Aggregator Services Private Limited. This is just a 1.5-year-old organization, which is mostly concentrating on the rural livelihoods generation. Our this entity is a social enterprise. It's not an NGO nor a not-profit organization, but still it's a social enterprise because we intend to offer skill development and entrepreneurship development in agri and allied sectors. So I come up with a background of PhD in agriculture biotechnology, and I have around 5 years of experience working with farmers and farmer producer organizations. Even I worked in rural development sector with the government of Telangana. So I come up with an experience which is converting into a business and also in a social enterprise form in the form of Aggregator. So here we are, our unique concept is it's not only giving trainings as an EDP forms, but we also give an integrated training which is practical oriented, so that each trainee will be given practical experience based on, because we are establishing few small scale food processing units where we intend to offer the training also. So there are a few units which I'm planning to do, but it's very early stage for me to even say that I am and at which stage of my success.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, ProVentures, for giving this opportunity.
Great, madam. Thank you. All right. Anybody else would like
Can I
to?
introduce myself? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, madam. Dr. Padma,
I'm
correct?
Yeah, I'm Dr.
Yeah.
Padma Virapaneni. Hello, Dr. Chaturvedi. Hi again. I'm meeting you here. Well, I'm a medical doctor by profession, a subspecialist in neurology, and I'm also an entrepreneur. I've founded one of the corporate hospitals here in Hyderabad, long back, that's Kim's Hospitals, and I'm also a social entrepreneur, and I have my own organization. Um, I actually enrolled into this thing with a very open mind. I'm just trying to see if I can correct any of the processes that we are following right now, and maybe pick up some tips from what you're telling me and from the other people who are participating in this session.
Thank you.
Otherwise, our organization is mainly focusing on health education, menstrual hygiene, girl, children safety, and skill development programs and stuff like that. So I have many programs in mind, but I'm just trying to see if there's anything that I can pick up from this session, something more practical, more useful for me in my day-to-day management of my trust.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah. So anybody else would like to speak? I see Mahesh, Lakshmi, Narayana, Usha, Kumar, Jangara. Of course, I know last time he was there. Anybody else? Veldanki.
Good evening, sir. I'm Usha here.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I'm Usha. I'm from an NGO. This is Abhaya, which is for the empowerment of women. Okay, Abhaya Association for Empowerment of Women. We are a non-profit organization, and we are there since 2010. We are working for the empowerment of women through vocational skill trainings. It's skill development is the main motto. So entrepreneurship development along with, of course. So EDPs, ESDPs are the main trainings and all which we usually focus on. And we are also into financial, we also give financial assistance to them to become self-sustained. Marketing support also we show them. We have industrial tie-ups and all where we usually show the placements and all who wanted to go for wage employment. So this is how it is. This is how we are trying our best to make women self-sustained.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ma'am Shah. Yeah. Anybody else would like to go forward? Because I think it's a good network, so we can know each other. We don't know how God leads each of us. It will be a good point of connecting to some right-minded people. Yeah. Anybody else?
Sir, good evening, sir.
Sir, good evening. Bhujangara. Yes, sir.
Here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Nice to hear you again, sir. So 3-4 months back, actually, I attended the program also. But at that time, I was under COVID treatment, so I could not concentrate much.
Okay.
So it's a nice opportunity again to talk to you and with you.
Thank
But
you.
anyhow, to introduce myself, I am a retired banker and agriculture graduate. And so out of my personal interest, I have taken this course also. Because again, this time also I want to enroll. Another is now I am after retirement. Now I am working for KVIC, Khadi and Village Industries Commission, where the entrepreneurship development through credit support is being given to government assistance also. So what our Usha madam and Somani madam and all, they're nice to see them. Webinar also. They will be expect that to hear you, sir, from this 1.5 session and all.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Anyone would like to speak? Otherwise, maybe we can get back to our main session. Anyone who wanted to? Okay, good. So thank you so much for joining. And the idea of this session, actually I have, this session is actually in a full-fledged form. It's for about 18 hours. Okay, the idea here is just to give a small glimpse of how any NGO initiative can be systematically managed. Okay, what are the various best practices around managing such initiatives, which basically makes you accountable, and then for the funding organizations and for the beneficiaries, how you show yourself that okay, you are a matured in terms of ethical and in terms of following some disciplined best practices, so that it's like every rupee is being funded by somebody. Okay, how well this is being put into practice, and ultimately how it adds value to the ultimate beneficiaries. So basically, we are an organization. Okay, I don't want to get back into my organizational introduction. Ratna gave a lot. So we do project management. We implement complex project systems. Sometimes, typically, a project management implementation system goes into few crores of rupees. Okay, and the managing projects or delivering projects is common to every possible initiatives. Okay, we can say from education to government, profit, not profit, everywhere. Okay, the projects are part of the system. Okay, so in such case, how these things are being handled, and especially when it comes to not for profit, see, you basically, it is like when you get some X amount from somebody, you are expected to deliver maybe 10x value. Okay, with even 2x of cost. So if I want to put it in a monetary value, somebody may give you a lakh of rupee, but you have to do a project worth of 2 lakhs and give benefit of 10 lakhs. Okay, that means how much more your type of organization should be careful in investing on right kind of projects, and then delivering the at most the best deliverable. Okay, so that when I look at it, I feel NGO organizations and not-for-profits should have much more improved delivery capability, even compared with some of the biggest and best multinational organizations and some of the very advanced countries and their governments. Okay, but in reality, if you look at it, the figure is very, very pathetic. Okay, especially if you look at India, it says that there are more than 200,000 NGOs. 2 lakh NGO organizations are operational, but out of which not even 10% organizations are registered and maintain a proper financial account and do their business, okay, in a professional manner. Okay, that is a very, very shocking, surprising statistic. 90% of the organizations are highly ad hoc and not even gone into the records that the good work that they are doing. Maybe because of ignorant, we really don't know. Okay, so how these things can be improved? Okay, so ProVentures, a simple initiative is, okay, we are a kind of a specialist in project program and portfolio management. So we have been in industry practice for the last 15 years as an organization, and me as an individual, So I am into project management for the last 30 plus years. Okay, so actually speaking, it is a kind of a God put me this burden or desire. Okay, I have to do something back to the community, back to the deserving organizations in terms of foundations, not-for-profits, and other things. So with that in mind, basically we got into this organization. If you see in this slide, the right side bottom, okay, project management for NGOs, okay, is by itself is a foundation, not-for-profit organization based in United States. And when I looked at their standard and the model, okay, the model, there are two models available with them. One is to manage project and the other one to manage program. Okay, Project D Pro and Program D Pro. I was quite fascinated. Okay, in my 30 plus years of experience, I didn't find a very simple, lightweight model like this. Okay, so actually it was asked by us by one of the US subsidiary not-for-profit. We want our employees and project coordinators to be trained on PMD Pro. Okay, so in a short form, it is called PMD Pro. They said, I was thinking, like, I've been doing project management for the last 20 years. What is this PMD Pro? Then I asked for the additional literature and they sent me. When I looked at it, I just simply fell in love with that. Then we kind of took a decision. Okay, we should structure this as one of our delivery portfolio so that we can take it and then penetrate and then give our services to many more organizations. Okay, so then I gave that program to that particular company as a first training program. But immediately we applied to this organization, asked for a partnership so that we can deliver their services in India. Initially, they were a little skeptical because we have been doing more of a for-profit organization, the project program management services. Do you understand what the nuances of not-for-profits and all? So then we explained, okay, what is our roadmap, why we want this partnership. So when I listened to it, actually, he was very impressed and he said, PS, definitely we will acknowledge you as a partner. Please, you take these services. And then the chairman gave me one one-on-one meeting. He said, this statistic, okay, he said a country like Kenya, Nigeria, okay, they have more than 6,000, 7,000 certified professionals, okay, following the standard. And there are many organizations who are adapting the standard in their project management practice. But in India, we don't even have a 400 professionals. Okay, a country like 138 crore population, 400 professionals is, I would say, a drop in the ocean. And he said, at least you can have for 20,000 registered NGOs, a minimum of 20,000 professionals you can aim to develop them in kind of a managing, okay, projects, how they can manage social driven projects in a streamlined manner. So they get the visibility, they work more efficiently. And so these are all the benefits. So actually it gave me tremendous motivation. So in 2019, we actually became a partner. We are the first partner, and I guess we are the only partner, okay, in India at the moment, which is two less a number. Okay, so my objective is to kind of evangelize a disciplined project management, okay, in NGO, foundations, academia, and other areas. One thing what I really liked about it is, I'll just show you their website so that can also later visit it. So this is actually the PM for NGOs website. Okay, and if you look at it, they kept all those standards, okay, as a free download. Okay, I would say it is a treasure. Okay, if I purchase any of these standards, any other international organization standards, it will cost minimum $40 to $100+, any standard. Okay, so they made all these standards free download, and then they, I just click this. Okay, why I'm seeing this is, you see, I see here a lot of entrepreneurs and social entrepreneurs. I want you to make use of it. So you see here, Program D Pro standard. Okay, you can just provide your organization detail and then download all these standards, guidelines, videos, etc. And the next step is they provide, okay, some kind of certification programs, which is Project D Pro. There are 2 levels. You will see, okay, the various other items. The Program D Pro, there is 1 level, and other related informations are available. When I went through myself and then when I started doing the training, what I found is even the basic level, Project D Pro level 1, okay, itself adds immense value to the people. Okay, more importantly, okay, what I have seen is these examinations are coming to developing countries, NGOs, at a cost of 22 US dollars. Okay, the program is being administered by APMG UK, and it comes to NGOs at $22. Okay, because I am a person holding about 7 certifications. Okay, for each certification, I paid anywhere between $500 to $2,000 per certification I am talking about. Okay, which I have invested naturally. Since we are a corporate training organization, we get an ROI out of it. So I did it. But when I see this as $22, an NGO is being trained, and that is going to give them a tremendous visibility in terms of their professionalism and improved practices. I found this as a big advantage to the organization. So that is one reason I'm so passionate about okay, taking this to the various entrepreneurs and then social workers in NGO sector. Okay, so that is a little bit about the organization, about us, and PM for NGOs, APMG, who is a certifying organization, and there are 2 levels. I would strongly recommend level 1 is more than sufficient as a starting point. Afterwards, as a head of the organization, you can focus on picking up some of the key best practices and then implement it, pilot it within your organization. And the third thing what I see here is many of you are into skill development. Okay, so you can pick up 1 or 2 modules and add it to that, so that when it comes to somebody, when you are doing an entrepreneurship, I'm thoroughly convinced this is going to immensely help in their entrepreneurship. So you can add this as part of your curriculum and you can teach them, and they get a better value out of it. All these resources are free, and we do training, and as an organization which is for profit, okay, we discount this a lot, okay, but because there are so many hours is being invested to prepare and deliver the training. So if you need any assistance, we can basically help. Okay, we just planning to do at least 1 training per quarter, okay, to the public audience, and for any specific corporate audience, on request, we do those trainings. Okay, so that is the, I can say, a high level introduction about okay, this webinar and the purpose. Okay, what is the value that you can derive out of it? So I'll just pause here for a while and then take few questions. Okay, other than if there are no questions further, then I can move on to the subject per se. What is there in this model? Okay, how it can be useful to you.
Okay. Could you repeat the website address again, please?
Yeah, You
but
can
you
just
will
go and
mention.
type PM for NGOs, madam. PM. 4 is for
4 is number or
number. And then NGOs, all of them. Okay, any letter
okay.
you can do.
Okay.
I can share with you
Okay.
at the end. Okay, very
Okay. Okay.
you want. Maybe I just go see here PM for NGOs.org. That's it. Just click it
Okay.
in the Google site, you will get it, and then you can be benefited immensely.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Shall I move forward?
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Now, I'll see. Actually, I have a lot of information. Later, you can just write to me. I can send this PPT deck to you. You can do more exploration. Now, what? Okay, you are all either you are undertaking a lot of initiatives in a bigger scale, smaller scale. I would say every campaign, every small training, every awareness program, each is a project by itself. Okay, that needs to be meticulously planned, implemented. Okay, this standard talks about 5 important principles. Okay, while taking up any project. Okay, I won't go into the details. I'll just give you a kind of one-liner overview. Okay, how to do it, how to demonstrate it. All these things are much well spoken about in the standard. Okay, so every project to begin with, from top to, okay, and I'll go in a clock view, well governed. Okay, so the governance, okay, is very important for any project because you are accountable to multiple stakeholders. Okay, so you are being watched by the community, government, and the funding organization. Okay, so you need to establish a governance at the project level and at the organization level. It could be very simple with just you as an entrepreneur, one person as the sponsor and governance. Okay, and then you can define some processes, SOPs, and other stuff. The second principle is every project should be well participated. Okay, so because there's a lot of buy-in required from various people who are associated with the project. So you should know how to identify, analyze stakeholders, how do we engage them in various planning as well as implementation activities. How do you allow the end users or beneficiaries to participate in the project so that there is a good buy-in commitment from them so that the project is sustainable. Okay, so the participatory. The third element of third principle is every project should be managed in a comprehensive manner. See, quite often what happens in NGO project is you create a very good proposal, okay, and so you get a funding. But when it comes to implementation plan, okay, and then updating the plan in terms of monitoring and then creating an appropriate MIS and how you close the project and transition to the next phase, sustenance phase. So from idea phase onwards until, okay, the sustainability is established. So the whole cycle, we call it as a project life cycle, should be given due importance. How do we do that? Okay, and the fourth principle is the project management should be integrative in nature. Basically, we talk about the 7 to 8 key parameters. Okay, things like scope, schedule, resources, cost or funding, risk. Okay, and then working with the vendors in terms of supply chain, okay, inventory and other stuff. Okay, stakeholder management, communication management. Okay, typically there are about 10 knowledge areas. Now, the problem with project management is if any of these parameter changes, okay, for example, I'll just usually we put it in the form of something called triple constraints. I will write it to you in a simpler way. One second, just give me a moment. Okay, yeah. See, we call it as something as a triple constraint, where there is a scope, one side, schedule, another side, resources and cost, one side. Okay, and there are few other parameters that include scope plus quality of the work. Okay, etc., etc. So when we say integrated, these parameters are all interrelated. Okay, suppose if you touch one parameter like scope, immediately it will demand more time. Then it needs more resources and the cost will increase. Okay, and risk will increase. Quality will suffer. So all parameters will get disturbed. So when you develop a plan, it should be inclusive of all these parameters, tightly integrated. Now, this is being done with very advanced softwares in big complex infrastructure projects like railways or metro rail or airport and other things, okay, aerospace, defense. But when it comes to not-for-profit organization, okay, how do we handle it? So it is equally important for them. How do they develop such complex project plans? Okay, but it is very critical to manage a project successfully. And more, and the lastly but not the least, every project should be unique and we need to adapt according to the complexity, okay, and the duration, the stake involved. So we need to continually adapt the project or adapt to the changes, okay, changes that is happening within and outside the project. So how, okay, an NGO can cope up, okay, with these kind of complex scenario and still make the project successful. Okay, so this is what will be dealt in length in this project standard. Okay, I'll move forward. This is one aspect of it. 5 principles, core principle. Do you follow? Okay, now tomorrow if you are developing an entrepreneurial skill to anyone, do you imbibe them, okay, to that candidates is something we need to look at it. Second, okay, this I won't spend long time. The whatever I talked about before largely talks about the science of project management, okay, which involves a lot of technical skills, scope, schedule, cost, resources, quality, risk, etc., etc. There is another element called art, okay, in terms of managing, engaging, communicating, handling, negotiating with people. Okay, this is another major area. So this standard also mentions, okay, how do we give an equal focus to both art and science? Okay, what are the art elements? What are the science elements? Okay, I won't go into the details. And the third aspect of project management within NGO and other social development project is how do you look at the life cycle in totality? Okay, it gives a life cycle, project life cycle model that involves okay, 6 phases. Okay, so this is the first phase, identification and definition of the project, and how do you set up the project, and then you define a planning framework and do the planning and implementation in a iterative manner. So you will see in a corporate sector, they call it as a agile methodology and they charge lakhs of rupees to teach this simple intuitive model. Okay, so the planning and implementation goes in a iterative manner, and then how every project needs to be systematically closed and the output or outcome should be transitioned to the sustainability side, operational side. Okay, so 3rd phase, 4th phase, and the 5th phase. And the 6th phase should go on right through all across the project life cycle, which this model call it as a MEAL. Okay, MEAL. Okay, which is very, very important in social sector. M stands for monitoring, E stands for evaluation. Okay, A stands for accountability, and L stands for continual learning out of the project. Okay, so this activities, how do I structure and manage through the project? So now if you look at this model, I can tell you, since a couple of you introduced and you said you're also imparting, okay, entrepreneurship to the young minds. I tell you, with my own experience of entrepreneurship over the last 20 years, okay, any initiative, okay, within an entrepreneurship needs these 5 principles and these, okay, the 6 phase life cycle phases. If one person is able to do this effectively, I'll tell you, any endeavor, you can make it successful. Okay, so my pitch here is, you can confidently bring this maybe a module into your entrepreneurship, and that will help them to succeed, okay, in their journey, as well as within your own NGO, you can put them into practice. Okay, so what I have done here is, I have taken up each phase and then elaborated it with 2-3 additional slides. Okay, so before I go into each of the phase, so do you have any question? Any question? Any of you? Do you have any question? Dr. Somani, Dr. Padma, and
No, sir.
I don't have any
Crystal
questions.
clear.
Sir.
I
Thank
don't
you
have
for
any
checking.
doubts. Thank you.
thank you so much.
I don't have any doubts either.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you see some relevance from to what you are doing and what I'm talking
Yes.
about? Yeah?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
We can
okay.
relate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, madam. So then I'm motivated. Okay, let me go forward. So let's, I'll just take a kind of a bird's eye view across all the 6 phases. Okay. Now, project identification and design phase. Okay. So now in social sector projects carry lot of challenges. Okay. And somebody is funding, somebody is receiving benefit, somebody as a watchdog is watching you, how you are doing. Okay. So there are 360-degree view around that people are looking at. So it is very, very important. You need to look through the needs, okay, in terms of performing the right need analysis, find out what is the opportunities around and what are the various risks involved. What is the environment in which I'm going to implement this project? What are the alternatives available? And then you need to identify the right opportunity, the right concept, and build a concept paper. And you need to justify the benefits to the cost involved, and then bundle it in the form of a nice proposal. And you should be able to sell it to the funding organization. Okay, not in any unethical way, because everybody is interested in adding value to the country, value to the public, and value to the beneficiary. But when you are doing a work, you need to do the homework properly, because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it to that depth, because all others can see some kind of iceberg level, tip of the iceberg level needs, and then may jump into a conclusion. But you as a social entrepreneur, you have to do the homework properly. So the identification and design stage is to perform this particular activities, and you will see that this is the most important as well as most complex phase. But in practice, they spend less or least time on this particular area. Okay. So what needs to do, how you should bundle it, is what I'm going to look at it. I'm going to show you very little. Okay. You can go and download the standard and read more about it. So the first thing is, what is the current state? Okay. And what is the future state? Okay. You need to assess, and then how you are going to move the people from here to there. Okay. So that is the primary activity that you need to do during the identification and design phase. As part of it, Okay, you have to perform a need analysis, and actually I'm skipping a lot of things. The need analysis, for which how do you do the data collection, triangulation. Okay, there are a lot of things are there. Okay, now 1 hour is too little to talk about it. I've just taken some of the important elements. Okay, once you have done the need analysis, you need to do a good problem study. Okay, there is something called a problem tree. Okay, analysis. You need to build a problem tree and then do a current state analysis. This is pretty much like a root cause analysis. Okay, but okay, what I found is the root cause analysis or fishbone diagram will have only one end and the causes on the back side. Here you will see causes, the core problem, and the effect. Okay, this is how this technique is being used. After you do this, and then it will move on to solution. Okay, you need to just flip through the problem into a objective or the solution or the benefit, and then how do you achieve this? What are the means? Okay, that is where the definition of the project will come. What are the means through which I will achieve this solution? And when I provide this solution, what is the final outcome? Okay, what kind of transformation that happens within the community? So these two techniques, okay, I found it very beautiful, and all that requires is a good thought process and discussion with the core stakeholders. Okay, this is the unique, and this will lead to something called, okay, log frame. They call it as a logical framework. Okay, so the logical framework involves, okay, what are the activities that I am going to do and how it results in outputs, and if these outputs are implemented and received, what are the outcomes that you can see at the beneficiary level, community level, and once those outcomes are received, how it achieves the transformation objectives and goals. Okay, so this log frame, if you are able to build, and I tell you, you can put it to any big international or governmental organization, they'll see that you have done your homework well. Okay, so it will look like this logical framework. Activities, what I do, what are the outputs that comes along with that, and then how this will be implemented, and what kind of changes that I need to make at the society level so that I can see the outcome. And when the outcome is seen, the people will receive the benefit seamlessly and the transformation goals will be achieved. Okay, how do I define them? What are the measurement indicator? How do I verify? And what are the key assumptions? And later, those assumptions need to be validated in terms of a thorough risk analysis. So this is an important step before you bundle it as a proposal. Okay, so these are some of the unique aspects in the standard. They'll quote one example, which is a WASH project. Okay, water, sanitation and hygiene project. Okay, with a project by name Delta River project. Okay, so you will see examples from a social sector quoted, and how that log frame is mapped, all those things you can go and look at it. Okay, so this is the first phase, which results in a concept paper and a proposal and a design of the program or project. With this, then you will move to a project setup phase. Any questions? Any questions so far? Okay, I'll continue. When it comes to the second phase, the project phase, okay, you would have got already the proposal formally approved by your own sponsor or the funding organization primarily. Okay, based on, you will submit the proposal and the concept paper according to their framework. Now, if you do all that homework, what I have done, whatever format they give, you will be able to give a proper justification for your project. Okay, once the proposal is approved, internally you need to do few things. Okay, that is why it is called a project setup. Okay, So this results in within your own internal approval by the governance board, okay, which is characterized by something called project charter, okay. Okay, this is the key deliverable, and you would have done a risk register. How you are going to identify, analyze, engage stakeholders, you will do, and then you will make a formal launch of the project, okay, which will communicate to the stakeholders what they can expect, when they can expect, and how it is going to be worked out. Okay, you will launch the project. Relatively, yes, simple phase, but you need to do lot of things. You need to do a risk analysis. Okay, you need to do a set up a governance structure. You need to build a planning framework. You need to build a meal framework, monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning framework. Finally, you will document it in the form of charter, and then you will launch the project. Okay, so this is what will be done, and I'll just keep going. Okay, so this is the setup phase. When you move to, actually, when you come to a setup phase, okay, you are on a solid ground. You got the funding, you have a clear framework or roadmap about what you are going to do, okay, in terms of the benefits, and your organization has approved. You have done a risk analysis, you have done a good stakeholder engagement strategy and matrix you have developed. So now you move on to project planning. Okay, as I told you before, this project planning is of iterative in nature. Okay, for example, let's say you would like to do, okay, you are let's say a water and sanitation program, okay, in let's say about 4 districts. Okay, so you can't directly, you won't launch it in 4 districts simultaneously. Okay, you will develop a plan to launch in the first district, and you will implement it. Okay, so you already have the project sanction and set up. So the first phase is over, second phase is over. Okay, you have a commitment for funding. So you will start with first phase rollout in 1 district, plan it, implement it. Okay, and then you demonstrate to your stakeholder your output. Okay, and then take the next phase funding, plan it, and then implement it. Okay, report it, and then plan it the third phase. Okay, and then implement it. So between each iteration, you will see lot of lessons being learned, mid-core correction will be done, and then you will see your delivery maturity, cycle time reduction, beneficiary level reach out, all those things will improve. Once you complete those predefined, okay, the target audience, finally you will move into a closure phase. Until then, you will iterate it. Basically, in a corporate cycle, they call it as a iterative planning and implementation, or it is also called by a popular jargon called agile project management. Okay, which in many other sectors we naturally do it, but this is a very buzzword here. If you tell your funding organization, I do this kind of rollout, they will be thrilled, especially if you are taking up some corporate social responsibility funding, and if you drive your project, and if you present them this framework, they will really be excited. Okay, so that's a one good benefit of following this disciplined and matured framework for your planning and implementation. Okay, so this is how it is to be done. What are the different areas to be planned? Okay, so you need to develop a timeline in terms of schedule. You need to develop a detailed risk management plan. You need to develop a plan for monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning, meal plan. You need to plan stakeholder and communication plan. You need to plan something called, okay, RASI matrix. Okay, who are responsible, who are accountable, who are the people to be consulted, and who are the people to be informed. That is one, again, very important plan. You need to do the supply chain planning in terms of purchase, and then in terms of inventory, in terms of asset, okay, and other related things. Okay, logistics you need to plan. You need to plan your team and resources. So these are all some of the component plans, okay, you need to develop as part of overall plan. Okay, so now the standard talks about how you do these plans, okay, effectively. It gives you some examples and other things, templates and etc. Okay, and then comes to implementation. Wherever you have any difficulty or questions, please feel free. Okay, I'm trying to give a complete standard overview in 75 minutes. Okay, so I'm going little Shatabdi speed. So
I have only one question, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Are you going to share this presentation with us?
Yes, sir, I'll share it with you. No
Kindly, because otherwise we have to make the notes and time is not enough for that.
No, you don't need to make notes. Okay, just leave your, I think your email ID is with us and we'll share you the presentation.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
In fact,
thank you so much.
Okay, you can directly reuse this presentation. Okay, you can present it in your own network forums, etc., etc. At the end of the day, okay, we need to bring in, okay, a lot of maturity within our Indian NGOs. Okay, that's the goal. Okay, right.
Thank you so much.
All right, sir. So now we'll move on to implementation phase. So the implementation involves managing people. Okay, how do you cope up with your timelines? How do you work within your budget, cost control, and then how the uncertainties and risks are managed? How a lot of issues will come up? How do you track and manage issues? Supply chain, how do you manage? So all those plans needs to be put in practice. Okay, that is lot about implementation. If you don't develop plans properly, your implementation will be full of firefighting. Okay, so most of the time we are good firefighters, okay, and issue managers rather than a proactive, okay, leaders. Okay, that is what this will be emphasizing. And one of the important aspect of NGO project is sustainability. Okay, so right from the beginning, we need to explore sustainability of our output and outcome. Okay, and you need to refine it as you go through it, because there will be a lot of challenges will come. You need to refine the sustainability plan. As part of closure, you need to hand over the sustainability plan to the recipient organization. Generally, social service projects don't get terminated or closed. Okay, it sustains for years, decades, and sometimes even centuries. Okay, right. Meal plan. Okay, monitoring, evaluation, and accountability. I'll just give you one slide. Okay, what is monitoring? We all know we monitor many things. So initially, we designed in the log frame. Okay, so a set of indicators in the log frame. Okay, those indicators in corporate circle, we call them as metrics. Okay, metrics. So we also say that these metrics should be SMART, S-M-A-R-T. Okay, they are simple, measurable, and then achievable, realistic, time bound, etc., etc. And then when it comes to monitoring, you need to monitor the performance against these metrics, and then find out the variances, and then take timely actions to keep the variances in control. You will see, okay, especially again in NGO projects, you may start with 1.5 years, and when you satisfactorily complete it, it may take 5 years. Okay, in the second year onwards, your funding will be exhausted. You really don't know how to sustain it. So this is the kind of situation will come. So it is very, very important how you do this implementation in a cyclical manner. Keep the sustainability in mind, and then parallelly, okay, how do you rope in additional funding agencies, etc., etc. So you are accountable for keeping these variances within control. Second, evaluation. The evaluation refers to achievement of these goals and objectives. So generally done at the end of each implementation phase. Okay, how your implementation is effective. Do we see the people gain realizing the benefit? If it is not, what is going wrong, how do I fix them in the next iteration of my implementation, what kind of safeguards I need to put in place before I transition it to somebody else. So all these things should be taken into account. The third aspect of meal is, okay, how transparent you are, okay, for the money that is being given to you, for the laws, ethical and other things, okay, how you are doing it in terms of without any gender bias. Okay, so there are so many things involved when it comes to NGO project. Okay, what kind of governance practices you follow, so that okay, people see that you are very system oriented person, not just a heroic individualistic person. Okay, how do you respond to the feedback that comes from your stakeholder? How do you encourage participation among the stakeholder? All these things you need to demonstrate it in your project. Okay, that is part of accountability. And the last but not the least, most important thing is, every project will bring you immense learning. Okay, how do you carefully document, share among the stakeholders to the recipient organization? Okay, so that you are continually growing in terms of the knowledge management, okay, and maturity, so that you become more and more efficient, effective, visible, transparent. Okay, so all these activities need to be appropriately planned and demonstrated in your project. Okay, that is meal planning. And I will move on to the last phase, okay, in terms of closure. Okay, in many contract bound revenue centric projects, if you demonstrate through some test and then hand it over, your job is done. But when it comes to social endeavors, okay, the projects seldom close. Okay, that is an important aspect. I see some chats. Anyone who needs any clarifications, or shall I continue? Okay, I think some of you have shared your email IDs. That's good. Okay, the point here I'm trying to make is, okay, the NGO projects, social centric development projects, they don't see any formal closure. Okay, the closure by itself can be of multiple types. Okay, you can relate it to your own endeavors. Okay, first thing is, due to some reason, okay, maybe legal, maybe paucity of funds, you may have to terminate the project. Or when the goal is achieved, okay, you're not proceeding it further for different reasons, but you bring a formal closure. Second type of closure is, all that you have done, along with the learnings, along with the data, along with SOPs and the product, okay, you hand it over to another partner, okay, who is going to take over. It could be government itself, or another community, or you need to build a community at the village level and hand it over to them. Okay, so that is the second type of transition scenario. The third type is, okay, you have done it, but the last, okay, some part you are not able to complete it for some reason, and you are requesting, okay, your organization, sponsoring organization, asking for an extension. Okay, extension to cover another geographical region, or extension in terms of timeline, or extension in terms of for the same target audience, okay, achievement of the resulting benefit. So you may ask, with funding or maybe without funding. That is one part of it. And the fourth part of it is, okay, you are the stakeholders are fascinated about your output. They said that, hey, this is something very unique. Okay, I want you to do more. Okay, so I'll give you the next round of funding. Take it to other states. There is so much need, okay, in our country, in our states, in our districts. Okay, so it could be an expansion. So the what you have done, you hand it over to somebody, and you are getting into new territories in terms of expansion. And the fifth type could be, you have lot of good and bad experiences. Based on that, you want to redesign and then modify the intervention when you move into the next part. Okay, so the social driven projects throw a lot of challenges, okay, and lot of creativity, lot of opportunities. Okay, so you need to handle these kind of transition. So again, all these things will happen in a very favorable way right from the beginning. We saw the project needs to be managed in a comprehensive manner. If you have done the right opportunity identification and do a proper log frame, okay, you will see that your project doesn't end, it expands, it gets redesigned and then redeployed. Okay, so that you need to do at every stage. You need to do this, document the lessons learned, especially when you are closing the project. You need to do something called action review, and then there are so many other, okay, lessons learned practices are there. Okay, the benefit measurement and many other things. Okay, I'm not covering all of them here. Okay, the L part of it. Okay, at every stage you need to do the after action review based on the facts that you have seen in your project, and then the shared opinion among the stakeholders, and then how do you take it forward as a documented best practice or lessons learned, which needs to be done extensively as part of closing the project. Okay, so this is a very high level overview about the whole. Okay, I just gave you something like a 5,000 feet high overview on the Project D Pro, okay, standard. You can download, read more about it. All those resources are available. And what we do is, we have already done, Mr. Pujangrao was part of that workshop. Okay, next week we plan to launch another workshop. Already there are about 6 to 8 confirmed candidates are there. Okay, so the workshop is going to be launched on March 15th. It will be a 2 hours per day, 3 day a week. Okay, that means 6 sessions, 2 weeks in a 2 week, 6 sessions. The dates are given already, the times are given, and our fee, okay, for this program is 7,500 plus GST, because we are a tax paying, okay, unashamedly ethical organization. Okay, so we account every rupee. So this is the investment. In fact, you can even take it as a train the trainer program. Okay, once you get trained, you can go and do the training, launch it as part of your delivery programs. Okay, we are very open. Okay, especially when it comes to PM for NGOs. See, I do training, okay, that costs around 40,000 rupees for 2 days. Okay, and I have attended training that is costing about a lakh for a 2 day, 3 day training. Okay, so this training internationally, it is offered around 200 plus US dollars minimum. Okay, we do it okay with 75 plus GST, and the examination, as I was telling you, it is 22 US dollars. Okay, and we have to do the proctoring, and we'll purchase the vouchers and then guide you how to register and all. So though for those who want to take the L1 examination, 3,000 rupees as the examination fee we collect, and then we administer the exam. Okay, that also can be administered as a virtual, where you are, you can write the exam and be certified. Okay, so this is the information about the upcoming PMD Pro workshop. Just now we concluded a workshop for LV Prasad Foundation for about 20 people who are doctors, scientists, and other engineers. And the next program, we are launching it as a public workshop. Most of these public workshops are being attended by NGOs. Okay, so this is a prelude talk for that particular program. And if any of you are interested, you can express your interest through your feedback form. If the time is too short, don't worry. Okay, you can express your interest when we announce the next program. We can communicate to you. And in fact, after you go through a program, after you become certified, you can teach. Okay, you can teach programs for the audience. Resources are fully open. Okay, so that is the overall insight. I'm done in terms of talking about it. So I can handle few questions, and I think 7 o'clock, 8:20. We had about 1 hour 20 minutes. And if you have any questions, we'll handle it, and then you can.
Thank you. It was a very good session. Can you hear me? Or yeah.
Yes, madam. I'm able to hear
Thank you. It was a very good session. Gave us a brief outline of what we should be doing, and probably we can develop some SOPs based on this and all that. But I just have a quick question. The session that you're proposing in the exam are going to be on the same day or on different dates?
Excellent. Very good question. These 6 sessions will actually prepare you, I would say, about 60 to 70% for the examination. Okay. But with the 60 to 70% readiness, okay, we can't get into an international certification exam. So as part of this, okay, if you sign up for the exam, we get you the voucher, and the voucher, or rather the window to take the exam is actually 1 year. Okay, so within 1 year, anytime you can take the exam, but we strongly suggest you take the exam within about a month, because otherwise, so you learned a lot of principles, and then we interact, debate over it. But if you allow it to cool down, then your confidence level to take the exam will be reduced. Okay.
Yes, and probably we'll be back to square one if you give it more of time. Actually.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you have, I think, more than 75% if you score, you can basically also register yourself as a trainer. Okay. And in the future, you can moderate and train students, and they qualify them for the examination. And yeah, so you can add it to your portfolio within your organization, and you can spread your wings. Okay. So that's other things. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. And
I have a question, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Somani.
Yeah. This is regarding not about this training, but is there a scope of partnership with your organization? Because in future, I will be organizing few trainings where your organization can be a partner with our organization, and then conduct few EDPs, or is this a possibility?
We can do that, ma'am. In fact, we are already having a partnership with Nirman, very, very young Mitspilani guys, and very passionate, and they do massive programs in Telangana and other states. Okay, in fact, most of their project coordinators are trained by us in following the systems approach of the project management. And in this training, next week training itself, one of the senior I think 1 or 2 senior members are going to participate to adapt to this PMD Pro model. And definitely we can help you. In fact, that is also an understanding with which we are doing this for LV Prasad Foundation. Okay, so we are helping them in terms of even setting up a automation portal. Okay, based on PMD Pro, we are developing a project management information system, and yeah, so we are going to implement these principles within that organization.
Sure, sir. We'll contact further.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, any further questions from anyone? And we have also given the feedback form link in the chat. So I request all of you to fill the feedback form so that we'll be able to send you the certificates as well as the slide decks. So please provide your feedback about the session in the link. So simultaneously we can cover if you have any further questions.
I would like to thank the speaker, Sir Srinivasan Sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
it has
sir.
been extremely nice and very useful, especially for an NGO. your PM4 NGOs is, I'm going to study that and come back to you if I need some help from you, so that we'll be able to work together on that.
Yes, sir. Thank you
My
so
my
much.
organization will be too happy only to work on PM4 NGOs because
Thank you
I'm an
so
NGO.
much. Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. In fact, my desire is maybe within, let's say, 3 to 5 years, we should see about 20,000 certified NGO project professionals, and then we should see some visible transformation in the NGO sector, and that should reach to probably even the government quarters.
Sir,
Okay.
I have a question here.
Yes, sir.
There is an organization for us where there are about 40 NGOs right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari,
Okay. Okay.
far and wide. We call it Cancer Care India.
Okay.
Okay, I'm an executive director in it,
Okay.
and also a director for international relations.
Very good, sir.
We have about 5 countries, a very serious NGO from Bhutan and Maldives.
Okay, sir.
Servicing cancer care rather.
Oh.
That is. So I mean, I was wondering if something can be done on NGO project management. Can we do a program together?
Yeah. Yeah.
For these people.
Yes, sir.
So that well, I do a lot of Zoom sessions and all these things. It's a regular practice for me.
Okay, sir.
So these are all small NGOs. Some are big, but some not many people are really capable of paying much of fee and all these things.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So to give them a taste of what project management can be,
exactly.
I would urge you to see that. Let's give a free program.
Yes, sir.
For this group.
Yes, sir.
Possible.
We can look at it, sir. In fact, my dream is, okay, people like you should absorb and then specialize. And I'm even thinking some of you can come forward, translate it into, let's say, Hindi or Telugu, so that it can reach to more people.
Sir, that is not a problem, sir. But in normal course, they say Ghar ka murgi. As a member or as one of the executive committee members, instead of my conducting a program, if you can spare about 30-40 minutes,
no, sir,
the session can be only for 1 hour.
In fact, you can take it from me. In fact, I give it to you all, Dr. Somani, Dr. Padma. So these, let's say this 60 minutes talk, absolutely, I'll be pleasure to do that. Okay. But the idea here is, I can only sow the seed. Okay. Afterwards, as an organization's head, okay, you need to make sure that it is spread and then bring forth 100-fold fruits.
That is wonderful. I mean, taking over or working together and all these things we plan, because this initial we have made a beginning.
Exactly, sir. Exactly.
Okay. Now, I would like my members, NGOs, to understand that there is a management required.
Exactly.
Management required for every NGO. Instead of doing a sporadic work or footloose work.
Yeah.
A systematic work can really do something.
Correct.
Now,
correct.
I have a question which is not answered. Is there ISO for NGOs also?
Not sure, sir. We need to explore. In fact, when people like you, senior people, join together, okay, we can even bring an Indian standard for NGO, okay, social entrepreneurship part of it, and we can propose, okay, take this standard as a model and then make necessary indigenization and then propose it to ISI committee, and then they will create the standard.
I think one such thing is required. For instance, there's one Indian Cancer Society. We have an affiliation with them.
Okay.
That's a branding. Now, like that, if really we can have one ISO standard for NGO.
Okay. We can work on it, sir.
And with that stamp, we should be able to, you know, for instance, there's one international agency known as Good Era. This Good Era has done due diligence for my organization. Now, whenever I send any application to any organization, I tell them we pass through Good Era due diligence.
Okay. Okay.
That's a certificate for me.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
And that's a stamp and branding.
Yeah.
So I would like to now, with your help, create an ISO standard and then ISO certification for NGOs, so that that also becomes a branding.
We can think about it, sir. We can
kindly
think
give a
about
thought
it.
and advise me at the right time, and let us try to do it together.
Yeah.
I'll be very happy
And,
to associate with you and do it.
Other thing is, for example, since we are also a technology organization, this PMD Pro standard, we have actually translated into a portal, okay, a software solution, which is going to be piloted, okay, most likely by LV Prasad Foundation, okay, if everything goes well. And I'm going to present and give a demo of this portal to the international, okay, the PM for NGOs Executive Director and Chairman. So we can walk a long way, okay, because if you look at it, Microsoft provides a free licenses, okay, Office 365 license. If your company is if your foundation is an NGO, so you need to go through certain due diligence to avail those benefits. Now, when you have there, this information portal, like what I'm talking about, program management information system portal, will actually come to you at a very, very subsidized cost, okay, which we can think about it so that you can show your dashboards in terms of benefit realization, your plans, roadmaps to your CSR funding organizations, and in turn, okay, actually demonstrating your value to them will be much more easier. Okay, not only you improve your own efficiency, but also how you can showcase your talent and accountability to your funding organization.
Excellent. I am really looking for something like, the chartered accountant is happy with Tally.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Something like that, if anybody is giving us, correct, where, on the computer I can see that my project management is done.
Exactly.
That is the software I'm really looking for.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that, sir. I think we can discuss more.
Yes.
And I think my Ratna is asking everyone, whoever it's possible, to switch on the videos so that she would like to take a
maybe I'll give you a surprising news.
Yes, sir.
We started this NGO because of two reasons.
Okay.
One, I lost my wife to ovarian cancer. And I'm a colon cancer survivor.
Oh.
So I'm the promoter of my organization, and we are trying to see that this organization grows far and wide, and will be able to really help the humanitarian humanity.
Definitely, sir.
In early identification, early cancer detection will save lives.
Okay, okay.
My doctor
Thank
also will be too happy. To associate with us.
Thank you, sir.
This is something. So if automation is done for the project management and a good software package is available, it makes my life easy.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
I don't really need to depend upon somebody to help me compute and all these things. I can give some inputs that are required for this type of NGO.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It can be customized.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
We'll work on it, sir. I think I'm so
all
happy
NGOs
about
do not have the same pattern of functioning.
Yeah.
So
Anybody else would like to have any final remarks? I think thank you so much.
Yeah,
all of
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I should really, it is very informative, and I should really thank Bhujangarao Garu to introducing such a great forum where I can learn more and more about a non-profit organization.
Thank you, madam.
How to run successfully a non-profit organization.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. I see Peter Wick. Actually, I would like to introduce to all others. He's my good friend, and even he's also my mentor. He runs an organization called Shining Stars that works among the poor underprivileged children who are dropout. So they bring them, give them after school schooling, and they also feed them. And we have seen children in young age joining that. They grew up, they went to college, they went to corporate, and then they become board member of that organization. So like that, we can see a total transformation from childhood to become a board member of an NGO. So Peter, you can say hi to everyone.
Yes, hello. I'm not Srinivasan's mentor. I think I definitely learned more from him than he from me. But thanks for inviting me. Sorry I was late. I was out. We were out and just got back in the middle. But nice to see all of you on this forum, and hope we can meet again sometime. Thank you.
We look forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the best. So anything, please drop an email to us, and then we can do such special talks for your own employees, and then we can together build this network. Okay. Thank you.
We are with you. We are with you. Thank you.
May God bless all of all,
Yeah,
all your organization.
Thank you.
I have given the feedback form, so whoever has not submitted the feedback form can.
We'll fill it up and send.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
The
Thank
chat.
you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Vijayakara sir, thank you.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.